Good morning, good morning. It is Sunday, May 11th, 9:17, 9:17 a.m. 9:17 a.m. And man, let me tell you a little bit of something about life, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I know it all. I don't. But I have I have noticed and I have came into the realization of, bruh, about being careful. Bruh, be careful. Be careful. And then there's times, excuse me, there's times where you're focused. You know, you focused. You know what it is that you have to do. You're staying consistent. You're staying persistent in the things that you want in life, right? But then life could throw you a curveball. You know what I mean? I know. But see, this is the thing about it too, right? This is the thing about that, right? You gotta be tough out here, right? You gotta not necessarily tough. That's not the right word, right? You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined because out here in the world, you don't know. I'm gonna say it like that, right? You don't know what's lurking. You don't know what's, I don't want to say it like that, like also too waiting for you on the next corner, things like that, right? Because this is now, like I said, like I always come back to self. I always come back to self. I always come back to accountability, right? Bruh, best believe, it's a fact, right? When you're on the straight and narrow, bruh, best believe, bruh, that the trap has been set, right? But now this is the thing about it too, right? You gotta understand, right? You gotta understand, right? It ain't like, I don't, you know, because choices, actions, decisions. You set those. You make those. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I always keep saying, right? It gets to the point where blaming the next person, blaming or society, the system, this, that, bro. It gets to the point where that gets old, bro. And it gets to the point, right, to where if you really acknowledge, right, like, hold on, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Not necessarily that I'm the problem, but that I have a problem or something. And I'm not saying necessarily me, but I'm saying, well, yeah, you know, everybody got their, I'm perfect, bro. Everybody got their stuff, right? But I'm just saying, though, I'm saying, the reason I say that and say it like that is because, like I said, bro, everything starts with self, bro. Everything starts with self. Because in our reality, life, excuse me. In our reality, life is beautiful. It is. Now, everybody live different, right? Everybody live different. Everybody got a different outlook and view on things. I get it. I understand. What I might think about a certain situation, about a certain topic, or whatever it is, you might not feel the same way, right? And that's cool, because that's life. That's life, bruh. As you can see, bruh, there's, you know, everybody out here, bruh, living their own life, right? And it's cool. That's what it is. That's what it is. Because like I said, right? Like I always say, right? What might work for you might not work for me, right? You might not see the harm. And these are just like not necessarily metaphors or nothing. No, it's not. But these are just examples, right? You might not see the harm in something as simple as, let's just say, eating a certain kind of food, a processed food, or whatever, right? You might not see the harm in it, right? But someone else was able to put the time and the effort into understanding what that specific, or whatever, like I said, it could be anything, what that can do to you physically, emotionally, and spiritually, right? Like I said, brother, there's plenty of people, right? Me, I don't smoke, I don't drink, right? I'm not knocking nobody that does. I'm not no, bro. I'm not perfect, bro. I'm not nobody to. I see the harm in it because of my experiences, because of what it did to me. Now, what it did to me necessarily doesn't mean that you're gonna get the same outcome or whatever. I'm not saying that. And then to be quite honest, I'm not really concerned, right? Like in the sense of like, bro, because I don't know what those things do to you, right? But I know for a fact what those things do to me, right? And that's what I'm saying, right? Like I said, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life. I'm not. I'm just expressing myself through my experiences and through what I've lived, right? And you got to understand too, to a certain extent, everything that you do, everything that you choose to do as well, obviously, having that emotional intelligence, right? Because everything that you do, right, some way, somehow, if you ask me, this is just my opinion, there's like an emotional attachment to whatever it is that you do. Whether you want to believe it or not, because I've been there, right? I've been there in a place where I'm like I said, even just something as simple as emotional eating. Whether you want to believe it or not, right? Just because there's certain things set out that you got right there, right? And not even knowing, but willingly just picking up the bag of chips and just eating it, right? Because it has become a normal in your life. You know what I'm saying? And now, not everybody or not, I'm just saying, right? And now you're going down this dark road of just like, you know, your blood pressure's all messed up. You know what I mean? It's up and down. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced, if people have ever experienced that, but I mean, but now see, this is the thing, right? And this goes for everything, right? You'll never know what these things are doing to you until you're able to put those things down. You know what I mean? That's why it's very important for you to always pay attention to the things that you're doing and the way that they make you feel. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets to the point where now I'm going on another thing, right? It gets to the point where you start off by doing these things, right? Now I'm getting somewhere else. Y'all gonna catch my drift too. It gets to the point where you're doing certain things, right? everything starts off as fun and games. Oh, I'm just having fun, or it's fun. And then after that, you start experimenting with things. We all been young, and we all like, oh, this is the thing to do, so let me try that. You know what I mean? And at first, it starts off as fun and games, right? And then from there, some way, somehow, whether you want to believe it or not, it becomes like you start getting a liking to it. And that's the emotional attachment. You know what I mean? It's as simple as liking somebody, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, right? Because when you like somebody and you have them around or whatever, and now I'm talking about also too, bro, things that you're consuming, bro, that you're, you know what I mean? Like alcohol, like, substances and stuff like that, right? You take a liking to it, so now it becomes like, now there's an emotional thing that gets involved. You know what I'm saying? From there, from taking a liking to it, you start building a tolerance. You know what I'm saying? That same dosage or whatever ain't hitting no more, right? Ain't it don't move you no more, right? And now do you see and do you understand, right? How something as simple as I'm having fun, where that can lead you to? I'm not perfect. I'm not. I'm not. There's times out here, bruh, where I'm just like, now don't get me wrong, right? It's trial and error. It is. That's life. We all going through this life, right? And we all, at least me, let me just keep it on me. Let me just stop saying that we all. Nah. I've been to the point where it's like, all right, bro. You ever, I used to do this all the time back in the day, right? Bro, wake up super hungover, bro. Bad. And they'd be like, oh, I'm never drinking again. Or something like that, right? We all been there, bro. A few days later or whatever, that next weekend, bro, you back out there. You know what I'm saying? Young, being young. You know what I'm saying? Or not necessarily being young either. See, this is where I keep telling you about don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't be stuck and stubborn in your ways, right? Because this not says me. This not says me. You know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding, right? It's there, bruh. You get it. You seen. I've seen. Some people don't change, right? They done live their whole life, right? Doing this, and I'm not, like I said, right? I'm not necessarily. I'm not knocking nobody. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life, what to do, or nothing like that. I'm just saying though, if you want better for yourself, it requires, bruh, letting go. Because you gotta understand, right? When you take a liking to these things, and then from a liking, like I said, then when you take a liking, when that emotion is involved, and then from there that tolerance builds up, and then from there, what's the next step? The next step is just life in general. The stresses, and not necessarily the stress, right? Because if you ask me, and if you know, like I said, if you acknowledge and you're able to understand, right? You're able to understand that the stresses that are in your life come from the problems that you created for your life. You understand what I'm saying? The choices, the actions, the decisions that you made have caused a, how can I say it, right? Have caused an effect where I think it's a ripple effect, to whereas your actions, your choices, your decisions came back with consequences because of what you choose, or because of what you did. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect, bro. I'm not perfect, bro. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect, bro. Everybody got flaws, right? We all been there. We've all been there. Some people have some people been through it. Some people are going through it. Or like I said, let me not necessarily say that. I've went through it. I've been through it. You know what I mean? But I will tell you one thing, right? It gets, like I said, right? It gets to the point where you gotta stop blaming, and you gotta stop complaining, and you gotta start taking accountability. Now let me get it back on the other flip side, right? It's nothing wrong with asking for help. But then it gets to the point too where the help, they can only do so much. And the true help that is gonna really take you to that next level is the help that you give yourself. It's the discipline, the consistency that you apply to yourself and to the things that you have to do in life. Because like I always say, right, I can't put away, or not necessarily, the next person can't put away, or how can I say it, right? The next person can't do the things that I need to do in life for me. You know what I mean? Like I always say, right? Can't nobody get in shape for you. Can't nobody eat clean for you. Can't nobody stop doing what you're doing that's hurting you, that's affecting you, because you're the one that's doing it. So it gets to the point where that help has a limit. It has a limit. The help from somebody else has a ceiling. The help that you give yourself don't have no ceiling. You understand what I'm saying? It's just life, right? It's just life. And that's what I'm saying. Like, be careful out here, right? Whether, like I said, right, People, places, and things. People, places, and things, right? But you can only, that also too, besides you putting your foot down, and that could only too, also too, that's like, in a sense, right? If you're not using it in the correct way, you know what I mean? What is it that you're doing wrong? What is it that you're doing wrong? Okay, I get that, bro. I understand that. You know what I mean? You gotta not go around certain places. Maybe also too, you gotta not go around certain people in order for you to not to do those things, right? Yeah, absolutely. But that only goes so far, right? Because at the end of the day, like I said, don't nobody make the actions and the decisions ultimately at the end but you. In life, bro, everybody knows what they gotta do, right? Oh, not necessarily. Let me choose the correct words, right? In life, or maybe it's not that they need to know what they need to do. It's maybe you gotta know and acknowledge, bro, what you don't need to do. And also too, everybody knows what they need to do, right? Because I don't know what the next person needs to do, bro, in order for them to propel and go to that next level, right? And like I said, right, when I say go to the next level, bro, I don't mean it in the sense of like climbing in the ranks of society with these labels, and I don't mean it like that, right? I'm saying go to the next level in their life, right? Mentally, physically, spiritually, bro, as a human being, right? Growing as a human being, right? Growing as a human being, right? And now, like I always say, bro, I'm not perfect, bro. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, bro. But I do know, I do know and understand, right, what certain things are affecting me, or not necessarily affecting me, right? Let's just say this, right? What certain things the things that I need to put away, things that I don't need to do. You understand what I'm saying? And then the things that I need to do. Simple, right? It's simple, right? Simple, bro. What goes up must come down. You understand what I'm saying? It's not rocket science, right? But then that's what I'm saying right now. Let me get back to. So then that tolerance builds up, right? And then from there, life happens. And then from that tolerance, and from now, you run away, or not necessarily that, you find refuge. And you run away, you run away from the responsibilities that you need to do by then indulging in whatever it is that people do. You understand what I'm saying? Or that I did, or that I do, or that you do. Because like I said, everybody's different, you know? But I do know one thing. In life, bro, everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. And that's what makes the world go around, right? But for me, at least, I know that I need to do more good. No. Let me rephrase that. It's not, I don't need to. I do more good. I do more good than I do bad. The bad that I do only affects me. Because I'm not out here doing bad out here to nobody, right? I'm not out here hurting. No, I'm not, bro. Or at least at that time, right? At that time. The bad that you do, bro, it only affects you. It only affects you. And now don't get me wrong, right? If you got people that love you, like I said the last time, right? Because if my wife, if she's upset or if she has a problem, her problem then becomes my problem. You understand what I'm saying? And vice versa. So now if you have a problem, that problem is gonna, although it's your problem, right? But if you got people that love you, it's gonna trickle down and it's gonna affect them. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. It's a fact, right? That's a fact. If you're not performing to the highest of your ability, bro, it's just like I said, right? The proof is in the pudding, right? I'm not perfect, right? But I do know for sure, and I know for a fact that, right, bruh, and especially, right, especially like I said, right, if you got kids, bruh, be careful, man, because the kids are always paying attention, right? The kids are always paying attention, man. I'm telling you, man. Or whatever, bruh. Whatever, bruh. The way you out here carry yourself, your words, your body language, your facial expressions, the way that you treat people is a reflection, is an internal reflection on really the way that you treat yourself, bruh. Not everybody, right? Not everybody, bro. But I know for a fact, because like I said, I speak out of experience, right? Because back in the day when I was like I said, I'm not perfect, right? But back in the day when I was really messed up, it was because internally, bro, I didn't like myself, right? I didn't like myself. So now I don't like myself, right? So now I'm just going around burning bridges, bro. I'm telling you, there's certain things out here, bro, that you do, bro, that some way, somehow, you put yourself in, you involve yourself in these things, right? That'll change the whole trajectory of your life, bro. But like I said, bro, the proof is in the pudding, bro. Look at just the homeless and all in the name of I'm having fun, bro. All in the name of, oh, it's all fun and games. Oh, it's a party. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, bro. But yeah, man. That's it for today, man. I'm telling you, man. But I'm saying, right, don't get me wrong, right? Let me bruh. Only you know what you need to do, okay? And whatever situation you put yourself through, you can get out of it. You can. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It might come easy for some people, but you can do it, right? But only you know what it is that you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, you can do it. You can do it. The things that you put away, bro, Now, like I said, it's trial and error, right? It is trial and error. Like how they say in the Bible, right? It's like a dog returning to his own vomit. You ever seen a dog vomit and then eat his own vomit? When you were blessed enough, bro, to put something away, bro, put it away, bro. Your past is in your past, right? Leave your past in your past, right? There's a reason why the windshield is much bigger than the rear view mirror. You know what I'm saying? And you got it, bro. You got it, bro. You can do it, right? Whatever it is that I don't know what you, but you can do it, right? But yeah.